Today I'm going to show you how to sew this easy boxy zipper pouch in less than 10 minutes, so just stick with me. I designed this beginner-friendly PDF printable sewing pattern in 3 different sizes. This is the smallest one I made for my daughter because back to school season is upon us and we needed some pencil pouches. So I made this one for her. The 2 bigger sizes you can use as makeup bags, toiletry bags, travel organizers, just about anything you need to keep organized. If you are new here, I'm Heather. I am a nurse and mama of 4 and the designer behind AlohaSewingCompany.com, where I teach you to sew using my printable, easy patterns with a video each week. So here is what you are going to need. The link below in the description box is going to take you to the printable pattern piece, or comment the word Aloha and I will send you the link to that. You will trace those pattern pieces onto your fabric and cut them out and get your zipper. The PDF tells you what size you need, don't worry, and then we'll start sewing. So get one of the outer parts, outer fabric pieces, and your zipper, and you're going to put them with the right sides together. So your zipper should be face down, lined with the raw edge of the top. This is the lining of my bag. It's got glitter on the front, and it's just white on the back. I'm going to place the pretty sides of my fabrics together, sandwiching that zipper right in the middle, and then we're going to pin or clip across the top. Then we are ready to sew a straight line right across here. You should use the zipper foot on your sewing machine, but if you're like me and you don't want to do that, just move your needle all the way to the left, and I'll show you how I do it with mine. It's totally fine. If you don't know how to move your needle to the left, just Google your machine, how to move the needle far left. Now I'm going to line up my zipper teeth right here with the side of my sewing machine foot and use that as my guide. We're not sewing on top of the teeth, we are just sewing right beside it. And we're going to sew all the way down. And this is completely optional, but if you want to make sure that your zipper teeth stay together just like this, you can sew right on top across the edge just to hold them in place together. Totally optional, but it helps them stay closed while we're sewing it a little bit later. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and make sure if you're sewing across this, you are using a plastic type of zipper or something along those lines. Now you can see we have that line sewn across. We are going to open this up and we are going to put the wrong sides of our fabric right here together, and we're going to press out the seam where we sewed. I am using a canvas fabric. The sea turtle fabric is canvas, but you can use any kind of fabric you want to. If you want to add some interfacing for some structure or some batting, if you want to quilt the outer fabric, you can do that too. But now we are going to top stitch right close to the edge, just like I did here, just to secure those 2 pieces. Now we're going to do the same exact thing with the top part. So we're going to line up our fabric with the right sides together and the zipper in the middle sandwiched. And we are going to sew a straight line all the way across just like we did a second ago. Remember, our fabric should be lined up with the top of our zipper tape, and we sew straight across the top here. Now we want to open it up after we've sewn it and press out that seam, putting the wrong sides of our fabric together. I don't like to iron on top of that canvas because it will melt it, so it's a little more finicky for me, but I'm just going to press it on the back side so that it lays nice and flat, and then top stitch right close to the edge here, about 1/8 of an inch away. So you can't see it very well because it's canvas, but I've got 2 top stitches right on either side of the zipper. If you want to add some zipper pulls, so like some zipper tab, I don't think it's a zipper pull, maybe like a tab on both sides of the zipper to open it and close it, you're going to have your little piece of fabric folded in half with the wrong sides together. This is the wrong side. And then you're going to flip in the raw edge right towards that middle crease we just made on both ends, just like this, and then fold it together one more time, just like you would make bias tape. Then you want to sew a line about 1/8 of an inch away from each of the edges. This is going to make 2 straps. So you can see I've sewn my 2 lines right on both sides to close that and make it look nice and polished. And then I'm going to fold it in half and just cut it right in the middle. And that's going to create 2 tabs for both sides of my zipper. After we have that, we want to make sure to open our zipper halfway. It is so important that you remember that part. Then right now I'm going to go ahead and cut off my excess zipper here, and then we are ready to place the tabs right mid-center on top of both ends of that zipper. just like I'm doing here. Pin or clip it in place, and then we are going to sew a basting stitch, which is basically just a stitch right close to the edge just to hold it in place on both ends. Now this is not going to be shown on your finished project, so don't worry about how it looks. It's just to hold it in place here. Here's what it looks like. You can see when we're all done sewing, it's going to flip up just like this. So now we are ready to sew our front and our interior together. So what we're going to do is our outer fabric here, place them with the pretty sides together. They should be kissing. And then we are going to pin or clip all 3 of the tabs that you see here, just like I'm doing. And then you're going to do the same exact thing for this interior lining, the pretty sides of the fabric together. Let's pin or clip all the way around. Now we're ready to sew each of these tabs. So the top, the 2 side tabs, and then at the bottom, we're only going to sew a couple of inches in. We're going to leave about 3 inches right in the middle. We are not going to sew closed so that later we can flip this right side out. Here's mine all sewn. You can see I sewed here using about a 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and I left this whole opening on the bottom so we can flip that right side out. The next thing that we need to do is go to each of the 4 corners, or where the corners should be, separate the fabric so that you can lay these 2 seams right on top of each other lined up, because these are what's going to create your boxed corners. Open up your seam, make sure they're lined up, and then pin or clip it in place. We are then going to take it to the sewing machine, and using about a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, we're just going to sew a straight line, just right across. Don't worry about how it looks. It's not going to be shown. We're going to do that for all 4 of our corners, or where our corners should be. I have sewn the lines for all 4 of those, as you can see here, and it's created my boxy corners, or what will be the boxy corners. The next thing we want to do is, you still have those 2 holes on the sides, right in the middle here where our zipper is. You're doing essentially the exact same thing as we just did, but you're going to sandwich the zipper right in the middle. So open up your seam and pretend as if you are lining those 2 seams together and sandwiching the zipper right in the middle like this. And then just like before, we're going to sew a straight line using about a 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance right across. Do this for both sides where your zipper is. Here it is sewn, super easy, using the same concept. Now let's just trim down our seam allowance for all of the ones that we sewed. Make sure if you are cutting over that zipper, don't use your fabric scissors. We don't cut anything else with our fabric scissors. Just trim it down a little bit, and then we are ready to go to that whole opening that we left down there at the bottom of our interior fabric. And you see why it's important that we left that zipper half zipped open so that we can open the zipper more through that whole opening. We are going to grab our outside fabric and push it right through that whole opening and flip this whole thing right side out. Go ahead and smoothen out your seams with your fingers. If you need to poke out your corners, you can use a chopstick or a pin or something like that. And then let's close that whole opening. Put your fingers right into the hole and pull them apart, and it should flip that fabric right inwards, about 3/8 of an inch. Then you can either hand sew this closed using a blind ladder stitch, or you can be lazy like me and sew a 1/8 of an inch right close to the edge like I did here, all the way across with your sewing machine. Can't even hardly see it. Then just poke that right back inside of your bag or your pouch, and you are completely done. So easy, quick, under 10 minutes. I showed you how to do this, and it comes in 3 different sizes. You can use them for anything you need them for. Just comment Aloha below and I will send you the link to the pattern. And what would you use these for? Comment and let me know below. And also tell me if this was your first time sewing with a zipper. Was this helpful at all? Thanks so much for spending a little time sewing with me today. Click on the screen to subscribe so you can follow along with all 60 patterns in this series. And you can also click one of the videos here on your screen and we can make something else together. And before you go, mahalo.